Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Mace. I'm coming to you from Canada. Karl's defiant message after 9 correspondents shot with rubber bullet. We saw the video yesterday, and it was pretty plain to see, if you have eyeballs, that it was unprovoked. And there was a lot of bootlickers in the comments like, she was there and she deserved it. She wasn't wearing a press vest and she didn't have a helmet on. And dude, she was standing there with a microphone, back turned to the riot police, looking into her colleague's camera. And then she was shot with the rubber bullet. There isn't really any excuses for it. It's obviously an incendiary, volatile situation that's been inflamed by Trump himself, you know, bringing in the troops, the National Guard, and the Marines, and just inflaming a situation that was a lot less volatile than before he became involved. And I don't know if they're just mega people that find videos, even if it's a video on an Australian reporter. But it's pretty funny, nevertheless, because they get so butthurt over it. It's hilarious. And everybody, the consensus is generally one of condemnation of the actions of the riot police officer. Like, some of the comments, the ones that are in the minority are like, well, F around and find out. That's what you get for being like a journalist near like a riot situation. And that's just laughably absurd. Let's get to Karl's message. Check it out.
Welcome back to the show. Well, for days now, 9 correspondent Lauren Tomasi has reported on the chaos in LA. Yesterday, an officer turned on her.
You just shut the
So if you slow the footage down, you can see the officer aim his weapon, pulling the trigger while Lauren had her back to him.
You just shut the
You okay?
She has her back.
And I have seen quite a bit of double speak, double think comments as well, like, she was instigating, and, you know, saying that there was some sort of threat where people were throwing things at the riot police, which was probably happening throughout, you know, maybe some of this civil unrest. But within the video clip that we see, there's nothing going on, and she does not look like any sort of threat, obviously. You can see that there's protesters and people behind her, but that being said, it's obviously unjustified.
To him. She has a microphone and is standing in front of a camera. We don't know what was near her. We don't know what threat was so imminent it required a cop to discharge his weapon on a reporter, or whether he meant to shoot her. But it sure looks like that to me. The incident was maybe one of 3 things. A moment where an LA officer so thought his life was in danger he needed to discharge his weapon. An incompetent warning shot, or the act of a coward. Either way, it needs to be properly investigated. I've had the privilege of working with Australian media overseas, and our correspondents are amongst the best globally because they are courageous and don't pick a side. They report complex, sometimes dangerous issues and take viewers at home to the front lines of the story. Lauren is a hard-working, tenacious reporter who is always determined to be fair and balanced. She's also the best of us. You will not meet a kinder person. I get that it's dangerous to cops too. What's happened to them in the line of duty and the position they are in is horrendous. But how is it okay for your police force to be firing at unarmed Australian journalists?
Yeah, he makes some well-rounded, pretty decent points there, I think. Police do have a hard job. There's no doubt about that. They have a very difficult job. A lot of the times a thankless position. They got to go to situations that most people would not want to go into. A lot of the times they're getting called for, they're getting called in, and they're there to help. And people call them for help. Whether even when they get there, they might get screamed at, yelled at, hit, things thrown at them. So yeah, they do have a difficult job, but with great power comes great responsibility. So that they should be upheld to a higher standard than most. And I think training, hiring standards obviously could be more robust. And I think they do get a bad rap a lot of the time. But this situation specifically, obviously, was unjustified, pretty shocking to see. Unfortunate, definitely. And it's amazing how quickly Donald Trump has just tanked the reputation of the United States in just a short few months. It's pretty much just tabloid slop, arrogant narcissism, temper tantrums, and bullying, and a huge lack of any sort of decorum from that particular gentleman. And that's bled down into all of the different arms of bureaucracy that he uses to try to exert, his policy preferences, let's say. Because he's not one to shy away from using the FBI, regulatory bodies, a lot of different bureaucratic arms to kind of get his way, right? And it's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. And it's fitting that you'll see news stories now about the massive decline in tourism to the US, and videos like this they really make you wonder why, don't they? No, they don't. They kind of exemplify why that is happening, I think, in a lot of very, very succinct ways. Canadian tourism, I think, is down 20-25%. Border crossings over 30%. People just don't want to go down there. They get detained. We saw the story a few weeks ago of the Australian woman who was detained in the detention center and accused of a bunch of different things before she was finally deported and banned for 10 years. And it's not a unique or specific issue to Australia. It's a lot of countries around the world, which, those stories build up and they gain momentum and they alter perception and they bleed down to everyday travelers and tourists who say, you know what, I'm not going to support this country's economy. I'm not going to go there and spend my money. And we see it. Happening. It's pretty clear. And this will obviously have effects, I'm sure, on a lot of Australian tourists, and as well as Canadian tourists. There was even a comment on the last video like, this is what you're going to expect when you're the 51st state. And it's amazing seeing Americans, freedom-loving MAGA Americans, just flippantly threatening annexation of country. And they really show their true colors is the main point I want to kind of get across there. They certainly show their true colors, and the color is red, just like their caps. All right.